All right, this is video number 2. Today is January 2nd. I am continuing the challenge set by Scott McKenna, fellow YouTuber who is challenging video creators to make a video every day for 30 days. So here we go. Today's topic is about me just kind of reflecting on how 2018 went and kind of a little backstory. I tried to work with my wife on, we like to pick a word theme of the year. A lot of people do that just to kind of see how the year goes by just kind of focusing on a word. And I feel like my word for 2019 is the word focus. And over New Year's, we drove to visit her family in a small town in North Nebraska. And on New Year's Eve, the weather was really bad. It was very, very windy. And eventually, after a certain point in our drive, it became really, really snowy as well. So snowy and windy. We made it to our first stop, which was about 3.5 hours from where we live, and took a break, visited some relatives there, and then what is normally a 30-minute drive north to our final destination took about 15 extra minutes. So not super long, but we had to go really slow. So here's a quick clip of why that was. Okay, so as you can see, the whiteout conditions were awful. Could not see at all. And interestingly, when we made it safely, luckily, we had to drive maybe like 30 miles an hour or something like that. And the speed limit's normally 65. So it took a little longer, like I said, but yeah, the thing that I kept thinking about was my word of the year, which is focus. And obviously you have to focus when you're driving. You shouldn't be distracted or anything like that. But in conditions like that, I had to pay extra close attention to what was in front of me. And I couldn't look around in the car. I couldn't look around to the sides or observe anything else that was going on besides the road in front of me, and trying to avoid any cars that were possibly in front of me. There was one car in front of us. You might have seen it in the video, but they were going just about as fast or slow as we were. So anyways, what was interesting was the next day, on New Year's Day, was a completely drastically different day. So starting out 2019, the day was clear, sunny skies, no wind, no snow. So our drive home later that day was perfectly easy. And yeah, just the two different changes of day and weather really made me think differently, and reinforced how I want to focus on some things better this year than I did in 2018. So I took some notes. Over here is I use the app Day One for journaling and keeping track of things every day. I try to at least put a picture or some sort of notes in there about what happened each day. And today I took some notes about how my 2018 went. So I'm just going to kind of go over a few of those real quick, so that someday I can look back. This is kind of one of those for me videos a little bit. And that kind of thought comes from another YouTuber. Her name's Sara Dietschy. She does a method where she makes a video kind of for her and then a video for her followers. So I'll probably follow something similar to that for myself on this channel, where I'll document some stuff going on in my life, and then there'll be times where I'll put some videos out that will benefit you guys. So I'm expecting a new pair of studio headphones tomorrow, actually. So I'm planning on making my first little review video, if you will, of some headphones. So that'll be one coming up. All right, so starting at the beginning of the year, the first thing I was able to do was I was flown by a client all the way down to Phoenix. They had a big event down there for the company that they work for, and it was the beginning of a year-long-ish project for them to kind of document their life and their lifestyle. And that was one of the big kickoffs of the year, was to go down there and film for them. So that was a really, really fun project. And I would say going into last year, I had a bit of an identity crisis when it comes to how I wanted to run my business. And what I wanted to focus on. So focus is definitely a theme. I felt pretty disorganized when it came to what I wanted to work on. I was pretty willing to take on almost any project that would come my way. So I had a couple random people contact me, a gym in town, and then a assisted living placement company. Um, and I just I did I did a quote. I kind of learned really quickly how to like do some sales stuff. I'm just not. I need to learn how to be a better salesman. That kind of threw me in it really quick, and I felt like I learned quite a bit, but I didn't get either of those jobs. So I kind of just knew that I didn't really want to do those kind of things, which is okay. Don't have to do it all. I filmed 5 weddings, so that was really exciting. I love filming weddings. That's kind of one of the ways I got started into some more serious video stuff was to do weddings. I'm planning on telling a little bit more backstory about how I got into this stuff, doing videography and some creative work and stuff like that. So that's a different video for the future. I also filmed some love stories. So basically, I also extend an invite to the couples I film their weddings. I ask them if they want to sit down and do an interview together to just tell about how they met and how they fell in love, what their proposal was like, and what their expectations are for their marriage. So it's always really fun. I know they really enjoy it. So I did a couple of those. I filmed a testimony for a local church that they played at their big Easter service. So that was a big honor to help a fellow church out. It wasn't our own church or anything like that, but I have some connections with some other churches in town, and they reached out to me to do their videography work. So that was great. Another project of mine that I'm trying to start is something called a legacy film. So ideally, this is kind of for people who are a little bit older and are really good storytellers of how they grew up and what their parents were like, things like that. So I got one of those done this year. I had one done in the previous year in 2017. So I'm hoping to kind of up that a little bit this year, get some more clients that are willing to do something like a legacy film. And one of my side jobs is for a dance studio. So I'm kind of an account manager. I work remotely for them to do account management and some billing and tuition rates and all that kind of stuff, or tuition management, things like that. And one really, really fun thing I do every year for them is I'm the production director for their recital. So I help run the sound, the lights, the video, and run the show from start to finish. So the recital is coming up in the spring of 2019. So I'm planning on documenting a lot of that, and we'll probably pick up some people who are interested in the dance community in terms of production and organization and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, stick around, hit subscribe or whatever you want to do to remember to come back and look for that. I also filmed a funeral. I'm trying to kind of focus my video work on the kind of the totality of life, if you will. So it'd be really fun to film births or birth stories. So from birth to people getting married. Like I said, I do legacy films, and then unfortunately everyone dies. So there'll be some funerals that I might pick up from time to time. And one random thing I do is design websites. So I had the honor of helping somebody that is bilingual. I made a French and English website for her. So that was really unique. So that was all my business stuff. Besides that, on a personal level, I didn't really have like a exercise goal for the year. I didn't do very much exercise at all. I have a background doing swimming in high school, and then I did triathlons for a couple years out of high school into college, and just kind of been biking and running off and on past couple years. But I decided to do locally. We have a pretty tall, it's not really, I mean, it's kind of a skyscraper, but a really tall building downtown. And they do an annual trek, run, walk up their tower. So I did that. It sucked. It was really hard. we welcomed our third child into our lives this year, and actually happened to share the same day as our 7th wedding anniversary. So that was really fun. It was a blessing. I love being a father, and now we have 3 little ones to love on. So we'll see if we have more. And our daughter is almost 5. She'll be 5 this month. And my wife and I decided to pull her out of a preschool we had her in. We had her in for 1 full year, and then we started her this fall, but then we pulled her out because we actually felt like the Lord wanted us to do some homeschooling with her instead. So nothing wrong with where she was at all, but we really felt pretty much called to try to do some homeschooling with her instead. So that was my year in a nutshell. I'm really excited to see what 2019 holds. So I will be back tomorrow. My goal tomorrow is to talk about my goals for 2019 and how I'm going to apply my word focus to accomplish all that stuff. So, all right, day 2 is done. Uploading this one right now. Good night. See you tomorrow.